I, 43 male, accidentally insulted my partner, 43 female, and she has remained cold ever since. And she wears sweats all the time now.
What did you say?
We have been a couple for 7 years. I only now realize we both view her very differently. From my perspective, she's never been interested in fashion at all. Always wears black jeans. She has dozens of black tops. She doesn't wear makeup, doesn't get her nails done, only does root touch-ups. And I love her and don't care about this at all. From her perspective, apparently, she dresses elegantly and minimalistic. She says she's always wearing no makeup. I guess she means mascara, not sure. She says she pays the salon every month to color her hair, or it would be gray. The reason this all came up is that we met up with friends, and one of the women is very fashionable, always done up. I had mentioned in passing to my partner that I loved that she, the other woman, wore vibrant colors. My partner had said she personally isn't a fan of bright colors, and in the past, when she has tried to wear them, she doesn't like how it looks. I told her if I was a beautiful woman, I'd wear bright colors for attention. And that's probably why our friend does it. Anyways, this was the gist of the conversation. If my partner was getting upset, I wasn't picking up on that. I honestly don't even recall what I was saying that made her mad, but she ended up annoyed with something. I was truly confused, but we ended up in an argument. I told her that based on how she looks, I had no idea she even cared about looks or fashion. She was getting really angry at me, which tends to make me mad too. So I told her that if she cares that much, to my surprise, she should present herself better. She insisted I tell her what I meant, and so I told her that she dresses boring and it makes her look old and dumpy. I also told her I don't care at all, but since she appears to, she should try to dress more fashionable. This was 3 weeks ago, and she was very angry with me. Now she's not angry, but she's remained cold, and she now has taken to dressing in sweatpants and sweatshirts. She says she won't be dressing nice around me anymore, but I never thought she dressed nice in the first place. Obviously, I put my foot in my mouth and I have apologized, but she doesn't care. She says she won't forget what I said. I really just want her to drop this. Is this something that needs therapy or just time?
I think it's something that needs time and a conversation. For you to say that she dresses boring and dumpy. Like, you have to understand the reason she's wearing sweats and sweaters around you now. You don't appreciate her when she puts the effort in. Like, that's what she's telling you. Like, she puts effort into her appearance, getting your roots redone. Also, no makeup is makeup. It can be a full face of makeup. The whole point of no makeup is it looks like you're not wearing makeup. It's not just mascara, dude. And for you to be like, oh, you look boring and dumpy. Yeah, she might wear all black, but maybe that's what she's comfortable with. And now she's just proving a point. Like, you know what? I don't think she's like being cold. I think she's being spiteful. And I would too. I would wear sweats and a hoodie around you. And I would be like, you want to see what boring and dumpy looks like? This is what it looks like. And until you can come to me with a proper apology and not some I'm sorry bullshit and actually tell me why you're sorry and actually be like, hey, I understand what you mean now. You have been putting a lot of effort into your appearance and I'm sorry it's gone unnoticed. I never wanted to make you feel that way. And I'm happy with you and the way that you dress and the way that you look. That's how the conversation should go. Yeah. Somewhere along those lines. Because she's more upset that everything she has done to look presentable and to look good for you has gone completely unnoticed. Imagine you put effort into your appearance all the time for your significant other, even if it's not for your significant other, but for yourself too. And then someone's like, oh, you look boring and dumpy. That hurts.
It's just like, it's kind of a tear down. And I think it's very common for a lot of like cis men like to be like, oh, well, she's not wearing any makeup. I love girls that don't wear makeup. And then they show pictures of what they like and there's very clearly makeup. They just don't get it. And so even if you're doing things for yourself, like you're doing it because it makes you feel good, light makeup, wearing blacks, and then you have someone like say like, oh, well, what you're doing doesn't look good. It just tears you down. Even if it's not for anyone else but you, it's still like a direct hit. It still doesn't feel good. It's just like rude. I can't imagine my partner criticizing me like this.
And what also is kind of just like, yeah, you're being an asshole is the fact that you said, well, there's not really a difference. Like she's just wearing sweats and like sweaters around me now. There is a difference.
Yeah.
And until you're able to address that difference, she's going to be cold. I'd be cold too.
If there wasn't a difference, you wouldn't have noticed.
You wouldn't have noticed. If there wasn't a difference, you wouldn't have been like, oh, she's wearing sweats and a sweater. There's a difference. Use your eyes, sir.
Delusional. There are some comments from OP. To be fair, I wasn't wasn't at all aware that she puts effort into looking nice. I'm not trying to be horrible. I'm being honest. I didn't know she cared because she never appears to try. And I only told her she dresses dumpy and looks old when she insisted I explain what I meant. To me, she has the potential to look great. She never appears to do anything to try.
Sir, no offense. You lack a lot of social cues.
There's no self-awareness here.
Yeah, it's like everything you're saying, it sounds like you lack the social awareness to understand like what you are saying is like mean.
Am I wrong for divorcing my wife because she couldn't handle me crying in front of her? So she doesn't have empathy? What you're saying? I, 28 male, and my wife, 29 female, were recently visiting Cambodia. I booked a trip for our 4th wedding anniversary. On our last day there, we decided to visit a genocide prison called S21. We were warned by our tour guide that the place wasn't for the faint of heart. The prison was used to massacre thousands of innocent civilians who were deemed too smart or intellectual during the rule of Pol Pot. I remember seeing torture chambers where they would beat people to death with chains. They didn't hide away any of the brutality. The pictures on the walls literally looked like something straight out of Live Leak. In one of the prison cells there was literally dried up blood on the floor from presumably the captive held there all those years ago. I remember walking past a tree dubbed the killing tree. They took kids as young as 3 years old and would bash their heads into it until they died. Upon reading that, I literally just started sobbing. I was visualizing everything in my head, and I just felt for the kids who had to watch their siblings and friends get massacred in front of them. My wife saw me crying and instead of comforting me, just gave me this weird look. After a while, she did come hug me and ask me if something was wrong. I just pointed to the exit and we left after that. I just couldn't take it anymore. While in our taxi, she asked me if I was seriously crying. I just nodded and kept quiet. I was still pretty shaken up by the things I just read and saw. That was last week, and there has been this weird tension between us ever since. She tries to pick fights with me and just seems dismissive and disrespectful for no reason. A few days ago, I came home exhausted from work, and she asked me if I could do the laundry that day. I told her I'd do it tomorrow and just wanted to relax for a bit. She then got mad and told me that she didn't know she was marrying a woman and then stormed off. She has never acted like this before our trip. I lost it yesterday night after she tried to pick another fight with me and confronted her about her behavior over the past week. I asked her if all of this had to do with me crying. She tried denying it at first, but after a while, she just went silent for a few moments and then started nodding while keeping her head down. I asked why, and she just claimed that humanity has done worse in the past, and she just feels weird about me crying over kids who have nothing to do with me. She also told me that she isn't a therapist and she felt uncomfortable and was disappointed in me for shedding tears over something that happens all the time. Oh, gosh. So you're saying some people have zero empathy for the mass murder of innocent children around the world because it happens all the time? She saw me getting mad at her comments and tried backpedaling and apologizing, but I just couldn't take it anymore and just went to bed in our guest room. This was literally the second time she has ever seen me cry. First was when my best friend lost his life to a drunk driver. To all the men out there, have you experienced anything similar with your significant other? I'm just sort of lost for words. I can't make sense of anything right now. I don't know who I can confide in with this, so that's why I'm posting here. I just need a place to vent. Your spouse should be the one person that you can confide in with everything in your life. And to all of the men out there who are listening to this, please do not take this story as evidence that women will reject you for showing emotions. His wife's response was unacceptable for any human being, man or woman.
My husband thinks I'm ugly and made fun of me with his friends. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. When I met my husband, I knew he was out of my league. He was a total player. He was dating a bunch of girls. The girls he dated were really, really hot. But then he asked me out. We had been friends up until that point. I asked him why he wanted to go out with me, and that's when he said that I was the only woman who ever made him laugh. We had really long conversations and we understood each other really well. And his mother loved me to bits. So we started dating. Fast forward a couple of years, we're married. And now we've been married for 1 year exactly. Now, I don't look like the hunchback or anything, but I'm kind of skinny fat. I don't color my grays or do anything to my hair, and I rarely wear makeup. I'm also pretty plain about how I dress. Now, I never thought any of this bothered my husband up until last week. I got off from work early. I decided to go get us some pizza. I'm going to surprise him. But when I get home, he's with his friends. So I decide to listen in on their conversation. There were about 4 of his friends there. 2 were women, 2 were male. One of the girls pipes up and says, "So how are you feeling about your wife?" My husband replies, "Well, you guys know I'm not in love with her, but I love her." And that's when another guy says, "But she kind of ugly though." They all laugh. Then another girl says, But how does she look naked? He says, as you would imagine. And then they laugh some more. This hurt my feelings so much. So I decided I need to make him fall in love with me. I signed up to a gym and I'm going to start coloring my hair and learn how to do makeup. I got Self-Care Sister for that, but I need more suggestions from you guys. Where do I buy clothes? If you're thinking I should leave him, no way. I love him. I just need a glow up, you know? What do you guys think?
Am I wrong for telling my mom she is dead to me if she mentors my bully? So my 16 male, mom 40 female is a teacher at my school. Our teacher has a special elective you can take, which is being a teacher's aide during your elective period. It's mostly stuff like grading papers for them, making copies, mentoring, etc. It's pretty much always just the teacher's favorite student at the time. I found out at the beginning of the semester that my mom chose Dave, 17 male, to be her TA. Dave has made my life a living nightmare since middle school. He has bullied me mercilessly, both physically and emotionally, since 6th grade. I don't want to get into everything he's done to me, but everyone is fully aware of it, including the school and my parents. There have been countless meetings with school administration and suspension on his end, but it never stopped him. Since we've been in high school and I hadn't seen him that much, which is a relief, but the times that I do are always terrible. When I found out that he was her new TA, I was obviously very hurt and confused. I asked her why would she want to spend extra time with someone who made my life so terrible. She said that she had him in one of her classes and that he really isn't such a bad kid, but he has a really terrible home life that she can't tell me about that makes him act out. For the record, my mom has always had a soft spot for the kid who comes from bad homes. I reminded her of all the things he had done to me, and she said that she understands, but he really needs help right now. I told her, I get that, but why does it have to be you? We have a huge school full of teachers and staff who can mentor him. Why does it have to be you? She told me to stop being selfish, and some kids have it harder than I can imagine, and she's just trying to help. I was honest with her and told her that if she continued to have him as her aide, she was dead to me. She was choosing him over me, and she would no longer be my mother. I would no longer talk to her the minute I turned 18. I was moving out and she would never hear from me again. She rolled her eyes and said I was being dramatic, but after a couple of days of ignoring her, I was grounded. It didn't change my mind, and my dad then tried to force me to talk to her. I still refused, so they pretty much took everything away from me one by one for the past few weeks. I no longer have my car, computer, guitar, and most recently my art supplies, and I have to come home from school and go straight to my room, and I'm not allowed out except for dinner unless I start talking to her again. They don't realize that this is just strengthening my resolve. I'm going to sit in this empty room every day silently until I'm 18 and they'll never see me again. My mom keeps coming in crying and begging me to talk to her, which makes me feel kind of bad, but she still won't remove Dave as her aide. Am I taking this too far? I just feel so betrayed. I would say you're not the asshole, and let me explain why. People are going to disagree with me. I get that. But your family is your safe space, right? The two people who are supposed to protect you in this world is your mom and dad. And if this man being her aide bothers you, your mom has to put you first and not this other kid. That's not her child. You're right in the sense where there's other teachers. I get he has a hard home life. I get that. But you are your mom's first priority. And she is pushing you kind of to the back burner. And for her to take it this far, she sees how much hurt you're going through by not talking to her, and it's not clicking for her. And what to top it all off, what has caused this disconnect? The same bully from 6th grade. And that would piss me off even more. I'm like, look, you're letting this person still ruin my life. And you're not getting it. The bullying is still happening. Whether the mom sees it or not, it's still happening. You don't think that kid is getting some sort of like, I'm still bothering this kid. I know he hates that I'm his mom's aide. You don't think he probably sucks up to you? Like, come on, like, know better. Like, you gotta be on your kid's side. You're their number one.
I am Indian and I've been married to my husband for the past 6 years. It happened to me a year ago that I seen my husband's chat with his best friend, male. In the audio clip, he, my husband, clearly asked the friend if he has a chance with her and glorifying her beauty in a way that's not appropriate. And he, my husband, also mentioned he messaged her and called her for a coffee and lunch, but she refused. He deleted the message with the girl, but mentioned it in the audio in the WhatsApp chat with his friend, and I only saw that. I asked about the incident, and he said that nothing happened, and he was talking about this girl only with his friend. Nothing happened besides that. No asking for coffee or lunch. I still can't believe that, and it's almost a year since, and I still can't really get over this incident. Like, I feel like he's gonna cheat on me.